Hi, I'm Rod from Ladenzala. This video is going to be a little different than what I normally do. I'm going to talk a little bit about prepping. Nowadays, over the last 2 years, I think we've gotten way more people into the prepping community than there ever has been. Personally, I've been doing this pretty much my entire life on one scale or another, but in the last 15 years, I've really become as self-sufficient as I possibly can. So yeah, I watch a lot of channels online. Some of them are really good. Some of them are a little bit out there, and some of them are just fairmongers. But yeah, I watch a lot and I follow a lot, and they do have a lot of good information. But some of the information, even on the good channels, is they tend to push bug out bags. A bug out bag, I guess, could be important in certain situations. But the chances of needing to bug out from your home or wherever you're located is pretty slim. I mean, like really slim. I don't know what the percentage would be, but yeah, it's pretty slim. So for me, I think the most important things, let's see, number one is water. I think water is very important. You need to learn how to purify water. You need to be able to collect water or preserve water or save water, whatever your situation calls for. Where I live, I don't have to worry about water. I have water everywhere. I have 2 streams on my property. I have a little stream that runs year-round, never stops. I have a dug well. So yeah, I got tons of water. That's something I don't even prep for. I mean, the day that comes that I can't get water where I live, I'll be dead. And so will everyone else on this island. So yeah, water is not that big a deal to me, but that's just me, in certain places. If you live in a desert, water is probably your number one prep. So yeah, this is just my situation. Food. Now for me, I think you store as much food as you possibly can. But now don't get carried away with this, because if you're going to store food that's going to last 20 years, if you need to go to a pantry for 20 years to be able to feed yourself, you're in trouble. Like big trouble. I mean, if you can't grow food in 20 years, you're not going to survive. Guess what? You can stack food to the rafters as much as you like. It's going to run out one day. So yeah, I mean, it's important to stock food, but not 25 or 30 years like a lot of these preppers do. I think it's funny, but it's okay. I mean, you can never have too much food, but don't concentrate all your money. I mean, it's important. For me, a year worth of food is very important, and maybe even 2 years worth of food if you possibly can. And yes, I do understand that you need to put food in Mylar bags and blah, 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 blah. But yeah, that's okay. Which is fine. 2 years is perfect, in my opinion, because that gives you time to learn how to grow your own food. You need to save seeds. If you're a prepper and you don't save seeds, you're not a prepper. You ain't going to survive. Okay? It's important. And my suggestion is when you buy seeds, vacuum seal them. They'll last a lot longer. I mean, some seeds, if you have 100 seeds and you keep your seeds for 1 year, you'll probably get 95 plants to grow out of 100 seeds. 2 years, you might get 80. 3 years, you might get 50 if you're lucky. 4 years, you're going to get maybe 10%. So yeah, but if you vacuum seal them, your seeds will last a lot longer. They won't last forever, but if you have seeds, then you're going to be growing every year, so you got to learn how to save seeds. Just growing vegetables and not saving seeds, not a good idea. You need to learn how to save seeds. And there's lots of videos online to go look at, and there's lots of people out there to teach you how to do these things. And it's important. It's probably one of the most important things to learn. Okay, that's his food. Security. Security is important as well. Very important, actually, especially if things get really bad. For me, this is my security system, which is what I do. Like, I'm pretty good at self-defense. I've been doing it a long time, most of my life. I'm in really good shape. Uh, now, firearms. Yes, there's a place for firearms, but I think most of the time you don't need firearms. So we're not even going to get into those things. If you live in the country, then I mean, for me, this is what I do for my security. Okay, I have 15 acres that's fenced off with wooden fencing and electric fencing. Okay, which is patrolled by 3 Great Pyrenees, which is like 500 pounds of dog. My dogs are the sweetest things in the world to people they know. Once you're on the other side of the fence, once I open the gate, my dog's demeanor changed just like that. They change from aggressive to friendly. They'll come up, wag their tails, blah, 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 and like you. But as long as that gate is closed, they're not friendly dogs. Like I always tell people, please do not reach your hand over the gate. My dogs could bite your hand off. My big male could probably bite your hand off in one bite. So yeah. I have a sign on my gate that says, please do not pet the dogs. But usually I know somebody is coming because my dogs will go crazy before they even pull in the driveway because my gate is down my driveway a ways. So, okay, that's my security. I'm not going to get into guns and stuff because there's just too many crazy people about guns. They're important, but they're not cure-all, cure-all. Okay? So what we got? We got security, water, food. It's probably the most important things. The other one is first aid. First aid's important. Everybody should have first aid training. It's kind of like really important. You want to be able to take care of some pretty severe wounds or because things happen. I mean, you can't be squeamish about certain things. You got to be able to do what you got to do. So yeah, first aid, you should always have medical books. I'm not talking like huge ones, but you need to be able to set a broken bone or stitch a wound or do anything like that. For me, it's never been that big a deal because I've done lots of that with animals. My entire life I've been dealing with animals. So I've stitched many wounds and treated broken bones and stuff like that. Because when I grew up, where I grew up, I should say, there was no vets. I don't even know if there was a vet within 500 miles to where I lived. The only person that was there was my grandmother. She was pretty good with animals, and I spent a lot of time helping and learning and doing things that we had to do for animals. So I learned a lot back then, and I'm still do it today. So yeah, that's security. Okay, so what do we got? We got water, number 1, food, number 2, security, number 3, first aid, number 3, or first aid, number 4. Okay, so let's get into the bug out bag. So no matter what anybody tells you, a bug out bag is not high on the priority list. But saying that, it really does depend on where you live. Like if you live in a city, it's kind of important. I mean, yeah, because most bad disasters aren't something that happens instantly. I mean, don't get me wrong. It could be like, boom, and it's a big major disaster. A lot of times it's slow or gives you a few hours notice or whatever. So you should always have if you live in the city, you should always have an escape plan. Somewhere to go. Now, if you can't afford to buy land in the country, then that don't mean too much. There's always lots of land on side of the roads. You just go in there, make a camp or whatever. If you need to get away for a few days, good spot to do it. But I mean, if it gets down to those type situations, then yeah, you're going to have to be a survivalist, period. So yeah, you should always practice all your preps and things that you learn and how to do. Like even when you watch it on YouTube, like if you watch a guy light a fire with 2 sticks rubbing together, it's not as easy as it looks. They make it look easy because they practice it 1,000 times. I mean, I've done it many, many a times. Growing up, that was what we did for fun. Yeah, we'd always have each other a competition as to who can light the fire the fastest without matches or a lighter or anything else. But yeah, we've always done that. So, and I mean, building bushcraft is just something we've done for fun when I was a teenager. I mean, where I grew up. My life's a little different than most, right? Because I grew up in a community. We never had a store, gas station, nothing in my community. I grew up with no TV. We had no TV, none. No cable, no nothing. Well, no internet. There was no internet back then anyway. But yeah, so I mean, those were the way that I grew up. To me, prepping is just natural. It's just the way we've always grown up. I mean, we've always done it. We didn't really call it prepping then. That was just the way of life. That's just the way we always did it. We always grew our food, stored it for the winter, and the next year we do the exact same thing again. But now it's kind of scary how many people have gotten away from being able to survive more than a week without having to run out to a store. I mean, it's a scary situation sometimes, especially like in the last 2 years. Things have changed so much. Prices are astronomical. Yeah, like my gas now, when I buy gas, I almost have a heart attack. The last time I went and got gas, I filled up 4 cherry cans and it was $110. I remember filling up cherry cans for $2. And that wasn't that long ago, maybe 20 years ago. So now it's just insane. So yeah, like I don't use my vehicle very often. I have a full-size truck and I use that maybe once a month, sometimes even less. But I mean, I still have to start it every week, just like every other gas engine. You should always run them at least once a week to keep everything lubricated and everything else. So yeah, I think that's pretty much what it is. I just wanted to, in my opinion, bug out bags are not that important. So I always believe everybody needs to prep to their situation. So every situation is different. Okay, so this is Layden's I hope you liked this video. If you did, press the like button, leave a comment. Maybe you disagree with some of the things I've said, and please let me know. I'm always willing to learn new things. I love it when people have comments and tell me things that I'm doing wrong or things that I said were not right. I have no problem. I believe everybody has a right to their opinion, and I would really love to hear your opinions. Thanks again. Layden's